It is pronounced Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. Shit on. We say it in the Tolkien. We say shit on Frodo, which is a reference to the Tolkien novels, you know. But the shit on Frodo that the people get when they're like, aha, it happened to you, but did not happen to me. Not at all. I want you to know that. So we will try not in this next segment to not show too much shit on Frodo, okay? Just try and keep it to yourself. It's very important. You think this looks weird? You don't like my bald-headed Frenchman? You bigot?
Be driven to work.
Shut the fuck up, Craig. We're not listening to you anymore. We want to hear from someone who everybody likes. America's mayor, which I don't know why. Perhaps someone can explain to me. This is, people call him America's mayor. And I'm like, what? Why would he be America's female horse? What makes him America's female horse? Is it because America, with its giant cock freedom, someone has to take that giant stallion cock, you know? And so, you know, they need America's mayor to be there already, all night long, rode hard and put away wet. America's mayor. That's true. He's more like America's hare. He's like a little rabbit, you know? He's a little lapin à sol. Galgon. All right, here we go. Now, let's see what he has to say. I'm very curious about these things. And some people say I look like a French sympathizer during World War II. Fuck you. I'll have you know, I am a Quebecois UFC instructor. I don't teach the fighting part. I teach the hygiene part because it is an unfair advantage to be stinky French during a fight when grappling is involved. It's why I ultimately had to shave my head, because the stench was giving me an unfair advantage in the ring. And by the ring, I mean that circle around the tube.
Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, New York mayor, filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
That's wonderful. Chapter 11 is my favorite chapter of The Art of the Deal, you know. It's almost as good as Chapter 13, which is blank. Just for the record.
Bankruptcy today after that.
Why is he squinting?
That despicable defamation ruling, ridiculous.
Oh, terrible. It was an absolute attack on the freedom of freedom.
This ruling ordering him to pay $148 million in damages.
He clearly does not have, which you can tell from the man cannot even afford dental floss.
Georgia election workers, just a ridiculous amount of money.
Oh, say ridiculous again. It is one of my favorite. You know, many people do not know this, but all the pretty words in English come from French, you know, and all the ugly words come from German. So the example I like to give is shit is German, poop is French, you see? And, you know, whereas like strike is German, you know, it has the German, strike, you know? But, you know, or even, you know, slap, you know, it's a little more French. Slap, you know, slap. A strike is very bad, but slap, you know, it can be a little sexy if you do it in the right place. You know, a little slap here and there, kind of, you know, a little slap and tickle, as it were.
His political advisor putting out a statement regarding the bankruptcy filing, saying...
Let me read this for you. Giuliani's statement regarding bankruptcy. By the way, bankruptcy is one of the few combined French and German words. Bank being very German, but ruptcy being very French. So you put these together and they do like this business. Which I love. I was very excited. Okay. The filing should be a surprise to no one. No one could have reasonably believed that Mayor Rudy Giuliani would be able to pay such a high punitive amount. Punitive.
It should be a surprise to no one. No person could have reasonably believed, that Giuliani would be able to pay such a high punitive amount.
It's pronounced punitive. Punitive.
Chapter 11 will afford...
Oh, you're going to continue. will afford Mayor Giuliani the opportunity and time to pursue an appeal while providing transparency for its finances under the supervision of the bankruptcy court, to ensure all creditors are treated equally and fairly throughout the process, which means there are a lot of people in line and he doesn't have any money.
Mayor Giuliani the opportunity and time to pursue an appeal while providing transparency for the finances under the supervision of the bankruptcy court to.
Look, I understand. Look, sometimes I mess up when I'm reading, and because it's the first time I'm seeing it. But this is your show, asshole. Okay, you put this show together. You talked to your producer before the show. You got this statement. They're putting it on screen. You don't even have to pretend to read it quickly. You know, naturally, you can hold the paper up to your fucking face, you know, and say, read it exactly as it is. You don't have to fuck around. You know, it is there. It's fine. You don't. Why can't you have? You've seen this before. You've seen this before.
Ensure all creditors are treated equally and fairly throughout the process.
Which is very funny. It's the funniest part of the whole statement.
Process. That's the statement. The mayor joins us tonight, back on with us. And sir, it's good to have you on.
Yes, it's good to have on someone as broke as Trump and as ugly as well.
You know, explain the reasoning for this. Obviously,
for the record, what the fuck is going on his background? Like, we know this is Rudy's soon-to-be ex-apartment with the glory hole right behind him. What the fuck kind of chaos, like Shanghai in a fucking Christmas globe bullshit is this? You're supposed to have kind of a real cityscape. I don't know what the fuck this is. It looks like somebody layered 9 background still frames from Ghost in the Shell. It's a fucking mess.
Was it just out of necessity? And where's your head at?
Sure.
I think we all know where his head is.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Moon River.
Remember.
Sure. I mean, if you think about it,
You should.
this is. I'm very hopeful it's going to be, the entire case is going to be reversed, but I can't be sure of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You cannot be sure of that.
And then the judge, in one of her usual acts of complete bias and acting completely inconsistent with the way an honest and decent judge would advise.
Well, I mean, I think she would argue that you're not an honest and decent person, and therefore she was reacting reasonably.
Advise them to not comply with the 30-day rule, but to go after my assets immediately.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Now, why she's giving advice to people who have 9 lawyers, including Wilkie Farr, which is one of the largest.
Oh, she's not giving you advice. Just for the record, she's not giving them advice. She's giving them the ability. She's, in her judgment, saying you can go ahead. You don't have to wait for the 30 days. She struck the 30 days because you wasted everybody's fucking time and delayed and delayed and delayed, and you wouldn't turn over documents and that kind of stuff. So she was like, okay, I'm going to nix the 30 days because he didn't deserve the fucking 30 days. He dicked around so much, and he was fucking with us the whole time. And he's been, obfuscating and trying to, he might be hiding assets. We're not going to give him any extra fucking room to do this. So you don't have to take the 30 days. That's not advice. That's legal permission.
Law firms in the country that they're not paying for, that somebody with Biden is paying for.
Right.
I have no idea why she thinks she gives legal advice.
Yeah, I don't know that. I think they're like any personal injury lawyer in a lot of ways. They're going to get part of what you give. That's where their fees are coming from. They also, this is a big high-profile case, and a lot of them will take it pro bono just to say they won. And they did, so fuck you.
To them. But I said I've got to protect myself, and I've got to, in essence, protect other people, normal creditors.
Normal creditors. Yes. There's certain Russian oligarchs right now that they're strapped for cash. Normally, they would, they have to fly coach because their plane's been taken, and somebody absconded with their yacht, someone from the EU.
Who have normal amounts that are owed.
Normal millions?
They'd all be wiped out. And they.
Yeah, you maybe should have thought about that, I guess.
He wiped out before we even got to an appeal.
No, I think they can write it off. I think though, yeah. I think if you got normal creditors that, especially if they're reasonable sized, they'll either come after you for some part of it, or wait and get it later. Yeah. Go after your weird European security company, maybe.
How do they even get to?
I mean, go into bankruptcy.
How does this even work? I gotta tell you, I haven't been following this at all, Mr. Mayor. Or should I call you John? Because your body is a wonderland. What is the? Who are you again?
If you take away that judgment, I'm actually a pretty fortunate guy. I've got a decent amount of money. I'm not
not for long.
Bankrupt, but with a
wait, what?
Fortunate guy. I've got a decent amount of money. I'm not bankrupt.
You just filed for bankruptcy, you fucking dickhead. You just filed for bankruptcy. You filed for bankruptcy. What a fucking, what? How? Oh, what the shit?
But with
the
148 million, I'm destroyed.
Well, it's.
Sorry, can we just hear that one just to enjoy it a second?
With 148 million, I'm destroyed.
It's sad.
Well, it's. I still don't understand where they.
I don't. I still don't. What happened? What is this? I mean, you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Mayor. I'm not in the news. I haven't been following this honestly, and I'm not a deep thinker, and it hurts. Like this amount of 148. I don't even understand. Is that 12 times 12? It's been a long time.
How they get that amount? I mean, tell us again. How much were these two women were looking for a fraction of that? That's how screwed up this system is, and
oh, the system. That's what it is. It's the system. These ladies aren't the problem. It's the system.
This court system is.
Oh, the court system. That's the worst of all the systems. The court system. Ugh.
They made it up because I got a trial that to call it unfair would be generous. I never got to put in a defense.
All right. You chose not to. You didn't. You didn't, asshole. You didn't. You did not. You didn't.
I was basically told that if I testified to my defense, I'd be held in contempt.
No, you weren't. If you testified to your defense and continued to lie, this is so fucking stupid. I don't know how anybody listens and goes, wait a minute, how? How would they hold you in contempt if you're telling the truth and you can prove it?
This judge does like to put people in prison.
For lying, which you would not have been able to take the stand without doing. How is that her fucking fault?
She's the one who told the other judges they weren't giving the January 6 people enough time.
And I agree. And they they agreed with her as well.
She's made several out-of-court speeches about her utter contempt for Donald Trump. And
so she does have good judgment. I see.
And she gives advice to the other side, legal advice to the other side, as she just did. This wasn't the only time she did it.
Again, that's not advice. She literally gives them permission. I don't know if Rudy probably wasn't even listening when they may have even filed a motion asking for it. Right? They may have said, can we, like they may have filed their attorneys might have filed some sort of paper that says, can we skip the 30-day wait time? And she agreed with it.
Most prominent.
And he's not even touching on it because he doesn't fucking know or care or is lying.
I was a law clerk to a federal judge. I never remember him giving advice to one side or the other. I'm sure nothing will be done to her because
it's terrifying.
That district court is kind of an embarrassment to America. And what
it is, it's so embarrassing that they have to. I mean, it's so embarrassing that they have to actually have a court case dealing with this shit with somebody like you as the defendant. You were America's mayor.
They've done to the January 6 people. And I think in our history books, that's going to look an awful lot like the Japanese internment program.
The whole
No, it's not. Fuck you. All right. The idea, I mean, Trump's been calling them hostages lately and that shit. But the fact that Giuliani, like, they are trying to suck up, I think there's kind of like an underlying right-wing money tree of people supporting some of the Jan 6ers, and he's just trying to shake some of the cash off of that fucking tree, the way Mike, like, he must be jealous of Mike Flynn, who's touring the fucking country talking this bullshit.
System is falling apart as the response to Donald Trump has been a total collapse of a lot of norms in this country, and this is...
No, it hasn't. Dude, you think there's not going to be football this weekend?
This is just another example of it. Mayor, thank you so much.
You think stoplights stopped working or some shit like that? You think people aren't going to work or doing, like, my friends have all stopped brushing their teeth, those that ever did.
Thank
for
you.
joining us tonight.
I'm sure justice will eventually prevail.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you'll probably end up in jail.
Yeah, we're fighting for you. We are, and we're...
No, you're not.
We're hoping
I know
for
you
you.
are. Thank you. God
Thank
bless.
you, sir. We appreciate that. Former mayor...
They're like, can we get out of this segment without putting him back on screen? Is there any way? Because he just stood up and he's not wearing pants. That's, I mean, I don't understand how, like, that qualifies as a defense in this situation. Honestly.